Good morning, happy Friday. How are we doing today? Hey, just want to kind of give you some updates of what's going on in the industry. Existing home sales came out this week, and cash buyers are up. So they are now taking 20. Again, these are national numbers. So they're taking about 28% of the market, and then investors have actually ticked up too. They're taking about 18% of the market. So add that together, that's what 46% of the market is basically cash and investment properties. So looks like those people that know what's going on are taking advantage of it. So, anyways, um, we've kind of heard some stuff going on with the banks, and my concern is that it feels like that they're telling us what we want to hear. Well, let's take a deeper dive and take a look and see what this is going on. I'll show you here a video in a minute. But what's concerning me is the banks are saying, "Hey, nothing to look at here. Everything's good. Everything's fine." But the Fed Reserve has just increased their balance sheet by over $400 billion. Why? Well, it all went to banks, and that's not good. And the reason I say it's not good is because here's what's going on. The banks, going to the Fed to get money is kind of a place of last resort. So let's say that you bought a bunch of mortgages or treasuries or something like that, you're a bank, and you bought them a year or two ago when rates were super low, and you bought a mortgage or a coupon, is what it's called, at 2%. Well, that coupon is now, because rates are so much higher, more like 4.5 or 5%. So what's happening is banks are having a problem with liquidity because their investments, you're getting 2%, but I'm seeing in the paper 4% on CDs and stuff like that. So here's what's going on. They're getting money in the door at 2% from these mortgages and treasuries and stuff, but they don't have liquidity, so they're actually having to go to the Fed and borrow money. The Fed is lending this money, give or take, again, depending on the bank and the day, about 4.375%. So that makes no sense. Who would do that, right? Would you go out and borrow money at 4.375%, stick it in your bank account and get a 2% return? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's because they're desperate and they have to have the liquidity. So when Janet Yellen is coming out and saying, "Oh, banks are fine, we're all good, everything's good here," it's not. And so another bank is hitting the skids today, Deutsche Bank, excuse me. And so that is a problem. These are major banks that are having issues. Credit Suisse, second largest bank in Sweden, and they own a boatload of American mortgages. They got lent under. So um, let's watch this video, give you a little deeper look at what's going on. So, and the reason I'm bringing all this stuff up is what it's telling you and how it affects you is credit is going to get tighter. These banks are in trouble. And so if you're in trouble, you're not lending because of risk and you don't have the money to lend. So subsequently, because you can only lend, typically X number of times the amount of cash you have on hand. So it's a problem, and that's going to affect you and your ability to get things done. So let's watch this real quick, and we'll talk about it as soon as we're done here.
And let's first talk about how the hierarchy normally works in the case of a liquidation or a bankruptcy. Typically, your bondholders would get paid first. They have preference, and then the equity holders come after that. But in this Credit Suisse and UBS deal, the equity holders actually got 20 cents on the dollar for their shares, but the convertible bondholders, they got nothing. And the problem with this is that while this may have helped that specific scenario, it's like a Rubik's Cube, and it has unintended consequences because now when you look at Deutsche Bank, the bondholders there are not feeling so confident. The precedence was set that the equity holders actually got preference over the bondholders. They broke the system here. So this is causing all kinds of pressure. Who wants to hold these bonds? It's costing much more to insure them. It's weighing on the stock price. And at a time when these banks are having liquidity issues, this is certainly not going to help their capitalization. It's not going to help for them to have investment there. So another problem here that's arising, an unintended consequence.
So Dan, let's talk about these bonds. These are COCO bonds, right? Want to break that down for us on the COCOs?
Yes. So these are contingent convertible bonds, which means that they are a debt holder of the bank. And then they have the ability to take that debt, and at a certain strike price, they're able to convert that into equity shares. And as previously mentioned, these debt holders are supposed to have preference over the equity holders. But in this specific scenario, the equity holders got paid something, and those convertible contingent bond holders got nothing.
They got wiped out. And that really, if you think about it now, if I'm an equity holder, I know what my risks are. Okay. So I know that if we go under, I can lose.
So, give you an idea. So again, I just want to bring this to you because I want you to really know what's going on. Because what the media says and what is happening, sometimes they say things to make people stay happy. But this is what's affecting us. We're seeing some banks, so things are not as rosy there in that front anyway. So we're hoping that this gets shored up, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, anyways, numbers came out this week, and at that point, the Fed spoke and they raised the rates, the market by another 0.25%. Intuitively, that means inflation is going up, and that would mean mortgage rates are going up. But what the comments they made affected that. So the technical sign said the rate should go up, but the comments or the news overrides, and the Fed said, okay, we're seeing that what we're doing is working, and we also believe that we're probably near the end of our rate hikes. So we're thinking maybe another quarter in May. And so that puts them, because they're at 5, and they want their strike point to be somewhere around 5.1 for the year. So if they raise another quarter, they will have met that. And so at that point, hopefully we'll start seeing some relaxation. Again, that's exactly what we're thinking too. So we're thinking, again, May 10th is where we're looking at. So again, mark that date on the calendar. I think I said that back in February. So anyways, hope you're having a great day. Just want to bring you up to speed of what's going on. If I can help in any way, I just want to make sure you're getting accurate information, because that's how we can move forward. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.